Have you ever wondered why, after decades of diligent saving and careful planning, the thought of spending your hard-earned retirement nest egg can feel surprisingly uncomfortable? It's a quiet struggle many retirees face, a feeling that often goes unspoken, even among close friends and family. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on this common, yet perplexing, emotional experience. Imagine reaching the finish line of your working life, a moment you've meticulously prepared for. You've saved consistently, made smart investments, and followed all the rules. Yet, when it's finally time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, a subtle hesitation creeps in. You find yourself second-guessing purchases, even those you planned for, even when your financial advisor assures you the numbers look good. This isn't a sign of failure. It's a deeply human response to a profound life transition. Instead of the anticipated relief and freedom, many feel a gnawing uncertainty. Confidence can waver, replaced by a quiet question: why does spending feel so uncomfortable when we've done everything right? This isn't just about money. It's about psychology, identity, and the fundamental shift in how we relate to our finances. We're here to explore this phenomenon with empathy, offering practical insights and reassurance that you are not alone in this experience. If you dedicate a few moments to this video, you'll gain a much clearer understanding of a critical aspect of retirement. We'll unravel the complex question: why do so many retirees fear spending money, even when their financial plan clearly shows they can afford it? And what does this fear truly signify? This isn't about judgment, it's about illumination. By the end of our discussion, you'll walk away with several key insights. You'll understand why this spending fear is not a personal failing or a sign of poor planning, but rather a common psychological hurdle. We'll reveal how this apprehension often stems more from deep-seated uncertainty and behavioral patterns than from actual financial shortfalls. Crucially, you'll learn how recognizing the true source of this fear can empower you. This understanding will equip you to make calmer, more confident, and ultimately more fulfilling retirement decisions. Our goal isn't to simply tell you to spend more. It's to help you understand the emotional landscape of retirement spending, allowing you to navigate it with greater peace of mind and intentionality. The fear of spending in retirement is far from an isolated incident. It's a widespread emotional experience. In fact, it's one of the most frequently reported psychological challenges retirees face, particularly during the initial years of their post-work life. This often comes as a surprise to individuals, as this fear rarely aligns with their pre-retirement expectations or their actual financial standing. Many assume that such fear must indicate a significant problem. They might think, "This fear means I didn't save enough," or "I must have made a mistake somewhere along the line," or even, "Something is fundamentally wrong with my financial situation." However, in the vast majority of cases, these assumptions are simply not true. The fear isn't a direct reflection of your balance sheet. Instead, this spending fear emerges precisely because retirement represents a radical departure from every financial phase that preceded it. It's a transition into uncharted territory, where the familiar rules and psychological anchors of working life no longer apply. Understanding this fundamental shift is the first step toward demystifying and ultimately managing this pervasive emotion. Before retirement, our financial lives operate within a highly predictable and familiar system. Money flows in regularly, typically in the form of a paycheck, creating a sense of ongoing replenishment. Expenses are met, and a portion is consistently directed towards savings, reinforcing a feeling of growth and security. Within this system, spending decisions, while sometimes challenging, feel contained and manageable. There's an underlying assumption that income will continue, offsetting current outlays. This continuous inflow provides a psychological buffer, making each expenditure feel less permanent and less impactful on the overall financial picture. However, after retirement, this entire system undergoes a profound transformation. The regular paycheck, that steady stream of incoming funds, ceases. Now, every single spending decision, every withdrawal, comes directly from your accumulated savings. This creates a powerful psychological shift. Each expenditure, whether large or small, now feels permanent. There's no immediate paycheck replacing what's used, leading to a perception that the principal is being eroded with no clear mechanism for replenishment. Even seemingly minor expenses can feel disproportionately heavy because they are no longer offset by the comforting presence of earned income. This structural change alone, irrespective of the actual financial health, is often sufficient to generate significant hesitation and anxiety around spending. For the majority of your adult life, you were conditioned and rewarded for a specific financial behavior: accumulation. Society, financial advisors, and even your own internal drive consistently reinforced the importance of saving, investing, and growing your wealth. This mindset became deeply ingrained, a fundamental part of your financial identity. You were taught, often through hard-won experience, to delay gratification, to save just in case for unforeseen circumstances, and to avoid unnecessary withdrawals from your growing nest egg. The mantra was always to let balances compound and grow, to prioritize future security over immediate consumption. This diligent approach is precisely what led you to a financially secure retirement. However, when retirement finally begins and spending from your savings becomes not just permissible but necessary, your brain doesn't automatically flip a switch. The deeply ingrained accumulation mindset doesn't simply disappear overnight. Instead, it continues to send powerful, often conflicting, signals. You might hear internal voices saying, "We saved this for a reason. What if we need it later?" Or "What if this spending is a mistake and we run out?" This discomfort isn't a sign of irresponsibility or poor planning. Rather, it's a clear indication that your psychological framework, your financial identity, hasn't yet fully transitioned from the role of a diligent saver to that of a confident spender. It's a natural, albeit challenging, part of the retirement journey. Here's a crucial distinction that often gets overlooked when discussing retirement spending. For many retirees, the fear isn't rooted in current financial calculations. It's not about whether the numbers today add up. Instead, it's a profound reaction to the inherent unknowns and uncertainties of the future. This is where behavioral economics truly sheds light on the human element of financial decisions. Retirees grapple with a host of unanswerable questions that can trigger deep-seated anxieties. How long will we truly live? And what if we outlive our money? What will healthcare costs genuinely escalate to in the decades ahead? What unpredictable twists and turns will the financial markets take? And how will they impact our portfolio? What if an unforeseen major life event or crisis changes everything? These aren't irrational questions. They are entirely valid concerns about an inherently unpredictable future. However, because they are largely unanswerable with absolute certainty, the human brain, wired for self-preservation, responds by pulling back. This cautious response, designed to protect against potential future threats, manifests as what we perceive as fear. In reality, it's often a sophisticated form of caution, a protective mechanism against the vastness of the unknown. Understanding this distinction, that the fear is often a proxy for uncertainty rather than a direct reflection of current financial inadequacy, is vital for both retirees and financial professionals seeking to navigate this complex emotional terrain. When left unexamined and unaddressed, this pervasive spending fear can quietly, yet profoundly, shape a retiree's life in unintended and often regrettable ways. The consequences aren't always visible on a financial statement, but they deeply impact daily experiences and overall well-being. Individuals may find themselves underspending for years, living far more frugally than their financial resources actually allow. They might delay or even forego cherished experiences they had always dreamed of, such as travel, hobbies, or spending quality time with loved ones. This leads to a retirement lived more cautiously than necessary, often accompanied by a persistent, underlying anxiety they never anticipated. None of these emotional and experiential costs show up as line items on a balance sheet. You won't see missed opportunities or unnecessary worry in your investment statements. Yet, these are very real costs that manifest in daily life, diminishing the joy and freedom that retirement is meant to bring. Understanding the source of spending fear isn't about dismissing it or ignoring its presence. It's about gaining the clarity and agency to decide whether this fear should be the primary driver of your decisions, or if you can learn to manage it, allowing for a more intentional and fulfilling retirement experience. It's about reclaiming control over your emotional and financial narrative. To truly embrace retirement with confidence, it's helpful to reframe our perspective on spending. Instead of viewing spending as a single, daunting decision, consider it as an ongoing, dynamic process. This shift in perspective can alleviate much of the pressure and anxiety associated with drawing down your assets. Think of retirement spending as a journey that evolves over time. Your comfort level, your needs, and even your understanding of your financial situation will change. What feels daunting in the first year of retirement may feel entirely natural and comfortable 5 years down the line. This process becomes significantly easier with experience, as you gain a clearer picture of your actual spending patterns and the resilience of your portfolio. As you accumulate more experience and data, the vastness of uncertainty naturally begins to shrink. You'll see how your portfolio performs through different market cycles, how your actual expenses align with your projections, and how your financial plan adapts. This gradual reduction in uncertainty makes the act of spending feel less threatening and more manageable. It's perfectly normal to experience early hesitation. Confidence in spending rarely arrives fully formed. Instead, it's a quality that builds gradually through consistent, thoughtful engagement with your financial reality. The ultimate goal isn't to eliminate caution entirely, as a healthy degree of prudence is always wise. Rather, it's to understand your caution well enough to make thoughtful, proactive decisions rather than being driven by reactive fear. When you gain a deep understanding of why spending fear exists in retirement, it fundamentally transforms your approach to financial decisions. This knowledge empowers you to move beyond reactive anxiety and towards proactive, informed choices. It's a powerful tool for both retirees and financial planners. Firstly, you stop treating every pang of spending fear as an immediate warning sign of impending financial doom. You learn to differentiate between genuine financial risk and psychological discomfort. This means you stop automatically assuming that something is inherently wrong with your plan or your financial situation every time you feel a twinge of hesitation. This understanding allows you to approach your financial decisions with greater patience and self-compassion. You recognize that the transition from accumulator to spender is a significant psychological shift, not just a mathematical one. This patience extends to your financial planning, allowing for adjustments and refinements as your comfort level grows. Ultimately, this deeper insight helps you separate genuine financial danger from purely emotional responses. You can then move at a pace that feels right for you, making intentional decisions that align with your values and goals, rather than being paralyzed by avoidance. Spending confidence isn't a switch that flips. It's built quietly, deliberately, and with increasing assurance over time as you integrate this understanding into your financial life. Let's revisit the core question we set out to answer today. Why do so many retirees fear spending money, even when they are financially well-positioned to do so? The answer, as we've explored, is multifaceted and deeply human. Retirement introduces a profound shift in our relationship with money, characterized by three key elements: the inherent uncertainty of the future, a fundamental structural change from income generation to asset distribution, and the powerful, lingering influence of a lifetime spent in an accumulation mindset. This fear isn't a personal failure. It's a natural, albeit challenging, signal from your brain navigating new territory. Understanding this signal is incredibly empowering. It allows you to approach your retirement decisions not with unnecessary anxiety, but with calm, deliberate thought. It helps you differentiate between genuine financial risk and the psychological discomfort of transition. This clarity is the foundation for a truly fulfilling retirement. In upcoming episodes, we'll delve deeper into practical strategies. We'll discuss how guaranteed income streams can significantly boost spending confidence, explore why the sequence of your retirement decisions matters immensely, and provide frameworks for thinking more clearly about utilizing your wealth over your lifetime. But all of those crucial conversations build directly upon the foundational understanding we've established today. Don't let unspoken fears dictate your retirement experience. If you're a retiree grappling with spending anxiety, a pre-retiree planning for this transition, or a financial professional guiding clients, this understanding is invaluable. Here's your call to action. Reflect. Take a moment to honestly assess your own feelings about spending in retirement. Is it truly about the numbers, or is uncertainty playing a larger role? Discuss. Share this video with your financial advisor, your spouse, or trusted friends. Open a dialogue about these common feelings. Plan. If you haven't already, work with a qualified financial planner to create a robust, flexible retirement income plan that addresses both your financial needs and your emotional comfort. A clear plan is a powerful antidote to uncertainty. Subscribe. Join our community for more empathetic, practical, and informative insights into navigating the complexities of retirement. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll dive into actionable strategies for building spending confidence.